Hey everyone, Nupkasub here. We are back with another video. So guys, the spring sale has begun on the Steam, and historically we have the lowest prices games, around hundreds of games have the lowest prices before, and they have dropped the prices now, some of the games. So I have plugged out the 50 plus games, which is rupees 359 and under $4. So these are the games which comes along with all the deals and all, and comes under the bundle as well. Grab your favorite beverage and let's get to the video. So the first game is from the Batman Arkham collections. We have Batman Arkham City, Arkham Origin and Arkham Knight Game of the Year editions. 85% off, 202, almost like a $2 a few cents. And we have a Batman Arkham Origins, which is totally a new segment of the Batman series, which is apart from these Arkham collections. So 80% off, 113, almost like $1 and a few cents. So that's highly suggestible and highly recommendable for my side to take this all Batman games. The next game is coming out from the Battlefield series. So Battlefield series are very on the cheapest deals possible with this spring sale. We have a Battlefield 1, 124 rupees, 90% off. The same for the Battlefield 4, 124 rupees, $1 and a few cents. Battlefield 3, 95% off, $1 and a few cents, 124 rupees. Battlefield Hardline, well, 95% off, 124, almost like a $1 a few cents. And Battlefield 5, 129 rupees, 95% off, $1 a few cents, while Battlefield 2042 is 92% off, 239, almost like a $3. So these games are totally worth to check it out, and all the games of this Battlefield series are the lowest prices as possible. The historically lowest prices possible for the game was the Doom series. Doom from the 2816 is 90% off, 159, was almost like a $2. Doom 3 from 2012, 179, almost like a $2 a few cents. Doom 64, 60% off, 166, almost like a $2 a few cents. And Doom 1 and Doom 2 from this Windows XP editions game, which is 335. You will get the both 64 bits of versions of the Doom 1 and Doom 2 classic retro style, which was 335, 60% off, $3 to $4. So these are the games which you can get all the Doom series or the best deals when guns, shooters and all the stuff. So highly suggest to check it out. The next is coming out from the Tomb Raider series. So Tomb Raider, the first reboot is 85% off, 112, while Rise of the Tomb Raider 85% off, 224. And Shadow of the Tomb Raider is 80% off, $395, almost like a $3 to $4, while Survivor Trilogy is way more than $500. So I'm not will cover in another video. So Tomb Raider Legend, Lara Croft is 86% off, 48 rupees, almost like a 50 to 60 cents. Tomb Raider Underworld 89% off, 50 rupees, almost like a 50 to 60 cents. Tomb Raider Anniversary editions from the Lara Croft 89% off, 49 rupees, almost like 50 to 60 cents. Lara Croft Go, which was the Windows edition, is 85% off, 74 rupees, almost like a $1. Lara Croft The Guardians of the Light, it is 85% off, 74 rupees, almost like a $1. Lara Croft The Temple of Orishis is 85% off, 149, almost like a $2 almost, and even less than $2. So these are the games from the Lara Croft and the Tomb Raider series. Next, we have the BioShock bundle. So BioShock collections, we have 80% off, $349, almost like a $3 to $4, in which we have the remastered versions and the classical versions as well. So you will get the BioShock Remastered, BioShock 2 Remastered, and BioShock Infinite, and all the DLCs are already added to it. So it's a pretty good games for the FPS story-rich action single players. So that's a great deals if you haven't played. So this is the time to grab on. 80% off, $349, almost like a $3 to $4. So the next game is coming up from the Medal of Honor. So Medal of Honor is the great game, FPS action shooter, single player, multiplayer as well. So 75% off, $249, almost like a $2 to $3. So the next game is coming up from the Crysis Remastered Trilogy. Individually, it is less than $359. So Crysis 1 Remastered is $244, almost like a $2 to $3. Crysis 2 Remastered version is $283, is almost like a $3. Crysis 3 Remastered is $319, almost like a $3 to $3.5. So these are the games from the Crysis series, which is I can totally suggest the irons of its time. So if you wanted to game. So the next game is Steelrising. Steelrising is a Souls-like atmospheric action game, 80% off, $235, almost like a $2 to $3. So I highly suggest you to take this game as a Souls-like. So the next game is Godfall Ultimate Editions. So Ultimate Editions is 234 rupees, 75% off, almost like a $2 to $3. So these are the games from the action RPG and hack and slash. So highly achieved graphic fidelity. So the next game is A Way Out. It's a co-op action online split-screen gameplay, which is 85% off, 224, almost like a $2 to $3. So the next game is coming up from the Tom Clancy, The Division. The Division has really popular from the Tom Clancy's games. So the second part is not popular. So 85% off, 224, almost like a $2 to $3. So the next game is coming up from the Deus Ex Mankind Divided. So Deus Ex Mankind Divided is 85% off, 224, almost like a $2 to $3. Also, we have Deus Ex Human Revolution Director's Cut is 85% off, 149, almost like a $2. Deus Ex The Fall is 80% off, 99, almost like a $1. Deus Ex Invisible War, which is 86% off, 48 rupees, almost like a 30 to 40 cents. Deus Ex Game of the Year editions is 48 rupees, 86% off, almost like a 30 to 40 cents. So these are the games from the Deus Ex series, and the bundle has been more prices. So you can check it out if you wanted to buy the bundles. It's 85% off, 476. Almost like a $5 to $6. So the next game is the Red Faction's Guerrilla Remastered versions. So Red Faction's already been known by the destructions and open world third-person shooters, 80% off, 224, almost like a $2 to $3. So the next game we are talking about is Walking Dead Telltale Starter Pack. So we have a Walking Dead, a 75% off, 172 rupees, almost like a $2 and few cents. Walking Dead Season 2 is also the same 75% off, 172 rupees, $2 and few cents. Walking Dead A Frontier editions is 75% off, 172, $2 a few cents. And the Walking Dead Final Season is 75% off, 220, almost like a $2 and few cents, almost like a 50 to 60 cents. So these are the games from the Telltale Starter Pack from The Walking Dead. It is pretty famous and pretty very positive reviews, 90% of that. So I highly suggest you to check it out. The next game is coming up from the Shadow Tactics. The Blades of Shogun, 90% off, 160, almost like a $2. The Shadow Tactics Akio's Choice is 75% off, 220, almost like a $2 and few cents. So these are the games from the tactical, as you can say, the RPGs and all this stuff. You can play the strategical and perform AP stuff. So the next game is coming up from the Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. So Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order is 90% off, 219, almost like a $2 and few cents. So these games are totally from the action adventure source like third person. So I highly suggest you to check it out. Jedi Survivor is a buggy mess. So I think Fallen Order is pretty phenomenal. 90% off, 219, almost like a $2 and a few cents. So the next game is coming up from the Middle Earth Shadows Bundle. So Shadows Bundle is 90% off, 379, almost like a $3 to $4, in which you can get all these Shadows of Wars, Middle of Shadows of Mordor, Game of the Year editions, and all the DLCs are already added to it. So these games I highly suggest you to buy in a bundle. Don't go for the solo games or any individually buying all the single games as well. So 90% off, 379, that's a great deal. So the next game is coming up from the Surge. The Surge bundle is dual pack coming up from the dual pack is 86% off, 263, in which you will get all the Surge 1 and Surge 2. It is a Souls-like mecha game, so that's a great deal. Moving to the next game is coming up from the Sniper Ghost Warrior. So Sniper Ghost Warrior Complete Trilogy is 90% off, 220 rupees, almost like a $2.50. So these games are the realistic sniping games which is available on the Steam. Oh, the Sniper Ghost Warrior Contracts 1 and 2 double pack is available, is not along with the Sniper Ghost Warrior. So it is the contracts for the dual pack, 86% off, 398, almost like a $3 to $4. So I highly suggest you to check it out. These sniper games are totally the cheapest deal available. The next game is highly overwhelmingly positive reviews, more than 234,000 reviews. So 25% off, 186. It's a Vampire Survivor. So it's totally $2, almost the $2 and a few cents. So I highly suggest you check it out if you wanted to go for the action roguelike bullet hell. So that's a great game. The next game is coming up from the Bitter Sage, 85% off, 179, almost like a $2 and few cents. While the same prices goes to the Mirror Sage Catalyst is a 85% off, 179. So female protagonist in Parkour, every Parkour games is being inspired from this Mirror Sage game. So I highly suggest you check it out. And the story is totally linear and phenomenal. The next game is the Movie Like, which is the Quantum Break, 80% off, 169, almost the $2, exactly the $2 as I can say. So it's from the Everybody's game entertainment. So 85% off, very time limit blades, say 169, almost $2. So it's highly suggested to check it out. The next game is coming up from the Homefront. So Homefront is 90% off, 112, almost like a $1 and a few cents. Next, the Homefront Revolutions is 85% off, 168, almost like a $2. So Next game is Max Payne series. The Max Payne 3 is 75% off, $329, almost like a $3 to $4. And the Max Payne 2, 75% off, $163, almost $2. So these are the cheapest game available from the Max Payne, and I highly suggest you to check it out. This is the great games. And the next underrated games, I believe it is the best ones. Mad Max, 85% off, $161, almost like a $2. So it's an open world, regular combat and post-apocalyptic world. So it has a movie, and based on the movie, there's a game. So 85% off, $161, almost $2. So the next game is Raji, an ancient epic. So this game is 75% off, $149, almost like a less than even $2. So it's a great deal if you wanted to play the nostalgic Prince of Persia inspired parkour and the gameplay mechanics. So that's the great games, and based on the Indian cultures as well. So it was developed by the Indian studios. So I highly suggest you to check it out. The next game is Titanfall 2, the best FPS multiplayer mech games. It has a 90% off, $149, almost like a less than even $2. So I highly suggest you to check it out if you want to play this FPS game, the best FPS game from the Titanfall series. The next is The Thief, 85% off, $149, almost like a $1 and a few cents, and less than even $2. So that's a great game if you wanted to stealth and try to sleeping all around the world, and it's kind of open world, so that's a great deal. Next is the Far Cry. So Far Cry 1 is 70% off, $149, and Far Cry 2 is 70% off, $149. So these are the two games which you need to experience the first inspirations from these famous Far Cry series. So if you haven't played, go grab this on, and it's totally cheap. The next is coming up on the Fear Complete Pack. So Fear, not played the horror action FPS, which is the 90% off, $107. You will get a Fear 1, Fear 2, and Fear 3, and all the extraction points and precious mandate, and all the DLCs as well. So grab this, which has also the co-op gameplays as well. So 90% off, $107, almost like a $1 and a few cents. The next game is the open world Sleeping Dogs Definitive Editions. So Sleeping Dog is 85% off, $109, almost like a $1 and a few cents. So these games are totally great action hand-to-hand combat games, and the crime and the martial arts. So it's 80% off, $109. That's a great deal. The next game is The Dying Light, the best zombie parkour games. The anniversary editions, 10th anniversary editions is $119, 80% off, $1 and a few cents, while you can get the 10th anniversary enhanced editions with 75% off, $269, almost like a $2 to $3. So that's a great games from the zombie parkour game. So the next game is Deep Rock Galactic, which is 57% off, $230, which is the Dwarf Co-op PvE and FPS class-based, 67% off, $230. The next game is coming up from the Need for Speed series. So Need for Speed, we have the Paradise Remastered versions Burnout, which is $239, almost like an 80% off, $2 to $3. Need for Speed, the reboot versions from the 2016 is 90% off, $149, almost like a $1 and a few cents. Need for Speed Rivals is same, 85% off, $149, almost even less than $2. While Need for Speed Heat, which is 90% off, $174, almost the $2. Need for Speed Payback is 85% off, $234, almost like a $2 and a few cents. Need for Speed Most Wanted is 90% off, $99, almost like a $1 and a few cents. Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered version, which was released 2020, 84% off, $287, almost like a $3. Need for Speed Unbound, which is released on 2022, is 93% off, $244, almost like a $2 to $3. So these are the racing games from the NFS series. So that's a great deal. The next game is Borderlands 2. Borderlands 2 is 75% off, $249, almost like a $2 and a few cents. So it's a looters action multiplayer co-op game as well. So you can check it out if you wanted to play. This one is the famous from all the Borderlands series. So 75% off, $249, almost like a great deals. The next is Half-Life. Half-Life 80% off, $69, almost like a $1, less than even $1. So Half-Life 1 Source is 80% off, $96, $1 and a few cents. Half-Life Opposing Force is 75% off, $62, almost like a 60 to 70 cents. Half-Life Blue Shift is 75% off, $60, almost even less than $1. Half-Life 2 is 80% off, $96, almost like a $1 a few cents. Left 4 Dead is 80% off, $96, $1 a few cents. Left 4 Dead 2 is 80% off, $96, $1 a few cents. Portal 1 and Portal 2 both are same, 80% off, $96, $1 and few cents. So these are the games from the Valve, and I think this is phenomenal games. So I highly suggest you to check out this series. The next one is the Firewatch, 80% off, $176, almost $2. So these are the games totally unique from the adventure atmospheric story-rich mysteries, where you try to guard the fighting along the jungles and also the woods. So 80% off, 176, almost $2. So highly suggested to check it out. The next game is the Ori the Collections. So the Ori the Collection Blind Forest Definitive Editions, 80% off, $259, almost like a $2 to $3. Ori the Will of the Wisp is in 60% off, 230 rupees, almost like a $2 to $3. So these are the games from the Ori series is Moon Studio. So I highly suggest you to check it out. This is the cool game from the 2.5D perspective. So that's a great deal. The Killing 4 is the next game, 90% off, 72 rupees, almost like a less than even $1. So 70 to 80 cents. So I highly suggest you to check it out because multiplayer, crime co-op, action, more FPS. So Killing 4 3 is upcoming game. So I will highly suggest you to experience this one. The next game is from the Limbo and Inside, which is 90% off, 22, almost like a $1 and a few cents. This bundle, which you can get Limbo and Inside. The Limbo was the first game of the year games, which was totally based on the physics, and the sequels is an Inside. So 90% off, 122, that's a great deal, and you have to experience low graphical requirements. So the next game is the Just Cause. The Just Cause 1 is 86% off, 48, almost like a 50 to 60 cents. Just Cause 2 is 90% off, 99, almost like a $1 and few cents. Just Cause 3 is 85% off, even less than Just Cause 2. So 59 rupees, almost like a 50 to 60 cents. And Just Cause 4 Reloaded Edition is 79% off, 359, almost like a $3 to $4. So I highly suggest you, this is the Destructible Games. So go and check it out. The next game is coming up from the Dishonored series. The Dishonored Definitive Edition is 75% off, $249, almost like a $2 to $3. Dishonored 2 is 80% off, $279, almost like a $2 to $3. Dishonored: The Death of the Outsider is 80% off, $279, almost like a $3. So these are the games which you can buy from the Dishonored series, and there is a Braid Digital Deluxe Editions, 80% off, $359, almost like a $3 to $4. So that's a big deal from these Dishonored kind of games and the Arkham Studios. The next game is coming up from Hitman Collections, 90% off, $137, almost like a $1.40 to 50 cents. So these are the games which you can get: the Codeman 47, Silent Assassins, Blood Money, Absolutions, and the Contracts. So these are the games from the Hitman series if you are fond of the stealth games and famous about the Hitman. So this is the great games for you. The next games from the Crytek, 60% off, 122, is The Rise, Son of Rome, which is 65% off, 122 rupees, almost like a $1.22. So that's a great deal, and the game is totally ahead of its time graphically perspective. So the next game is the Sunset Overdrive. It's highly underrated games and underwhelming. Not the underwhelming, overwhelmingly positive reviews. So that's a great deal. 75% off, 131, almost like a $1.30 to 40 cents. So that's a great deal. The next game is coming out from the Bulletstorm Full Clip Editions. Is 90% off, 89, almost like a $1. So that's a great games from the FPS and sci-fi games where you can also use the bullet. The next game is coming up from the Serious Sam series. So Serious Sam Siberian Mayhem. So Serious Sam Chemicatch Attack is 70% off, 46 rupees, almost like a 40 to 50 cents. Serious Sam 4 is 80% off, 320, almost like a $3 few cents. Serious Sam Classic Revolutions, 90% off, 48 rupees, almost like a 40 to 50 cents. First Encounter is the VR edition, so I'm not covering that. Serious Sam 2 is 90% off, 48 rupees, almost like a 40 to 50 cents. Serious Sam 3 BFE is the 90% off, 130, almost like a $1 few cents. Serious Sam HD, the First Encounter, is 80% off, 95, almost like a $1 and a few cents. The next is the Call of Zoras, the Gunslinger. So this is a Western action FPS shooter game which has a bundle which is 80% off, 354, almost like a $3 to $4, where you can get the first Call of Zoras Bound in Bloods, and the Call of Zoras Gunslinger. So these are Western style games and FPS. I'll highly suggest you to check it out. The next game is Alan Wake Franchise. So Alan Wake Franchise is the 75% off, 142, almost like a $1.50. So these are the games which you can get: the American's Nightmares, Collector's Editions, Extras, and the base game. So 75% off, 142, almost like a $1 few cents. So that's a great deal. The next game is the Enslaved Odyssey of the West Premium Editions, RO. Which is 85% off, 196, almost like a $2 and few cents. Because if you want to experience the kind of a story from the Black Myth Wukong, so it is also based on that. You are the son of Wukong. So that's a great deal. And the last game series it's from my favorite one, which is the Prince of Persia series. So Prince of Persia Warrior Within, 80% off every game till the Forgotten Sand. 80% off 99. So Prince of Persia 2 Thrones 80% off 99, almost like $1 few cents. Prince of Persia The Sands of Time is 80% off 99, almost like a $1 and few cents. Prince of Persia the reboot versions is also 80% off 99 rupees, almost like a $1 and few cents. Prince of Persia The Forgotten Sand is 80% off, 99 rupees, almost like a $1 and few cents. So these are the games from the Prince of Persia, and you wanted to experience all these games. So once again, it's in a long decade of the releases. So these are the games for you. So at totally cheapest price as possible, all games are at the same price. Check it out, these all games, every games are on the descriptions. So that's it from my side. I'll bring back the new videos and updates because the spring deals are a hell lot of games to cover on. So that's it from my side. I'll meet you in the next video. Till then, keep gaming. Nupkasam out here.
Yeah, boy.